Enchanted Tiki Talk is brought to you by Kingdom Strollers. Our premium stroller and crib rentals are delivered straight to your Disney or Orlando area resort. It couldn't be easier. Book yours at kingdomstrollers.com. And Mouse Pros. Let our travel specialist plan your next vacation. Our concierge level service gives you the perfect hassle-free vacation. Get your free quote from Sean or any of our magical agents at mousepros.com. And Mickey Monthly, the Disney fans' monthly subscription box that brings the magic right to your door. Visit them at mickeymonthly.com. And now, it's show time!
Vahidi me Kyonimana, ladies and gentlemen, no flashbulbs, please. Our performers are temperamental and easily upset. Thank you for your cooperation.
Oh, look at all the people.
My goodness, you're all staring at us. We better start the show rolling.
Wait, we forgot to wake up the Glee Club.
This is episode 244 for the week of June 24th, 2018. Hello and welcome to Enchanted Tiki Talk. Keith and I are back this week. Say hello, Keith.
Hello, Keith.
Thank you. And with us, we also have Jesse. What's up, Jesse?
Hey, guys. How are you doing tonight?
Swell.
Good.
Swell. This is your third time in the hut, I think, right?
Yeah, third time. I'm honored.
Yeah,
Very honored.
Third and final. That's it. It's all over now.
Hope
Three
it's
strikes.
a charm finally. Yeah.
So anything new with you going on within the Disney, the Disney World, Disney community? Any new trips coming up?
Yeah, well, actually, we're going to be going down in July, mid-July, for about I keep trying to make the trip longer, so it's probably about 6 nights. My wife's always like, we start off with a couple days and it turns into like 8 or 9 days. But yeah, so my wife and I, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year.
Congrats.
And yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's crazy to think how fast time flies, but she's always wanted to stay at the Grand Floridian, and I'm always like, oh no.
Right, exactly.
But crazily enough, I was able to find 2 nights pieced together with DVC points, which again is like a ton of points. But I figured that would be better than doing the rack rate, or even at a discount. So.
Exactly.
So we're going to stay there for 2 nights, and then we're going to, our home resort is the Polynesian, so we use the rest of our points there. So we're out of
You're
points.
going to slum it back at the Polynesian?
Yeah, exactly.
Know, right?
It's all downhill from there.
It's crazy, but it's this Disney habit it's eating me. But now, if I had my way, I would, I don't get me wrong, I love my deluxe resorts, and but I'm the kind of guy. I stayed in All Star Music back in February, and I'm sorry, sports. I could do that. My wife, maybe not so much. So.
Yeah, I can't stay in those slums with those people. I mean, it's so gross. Yeah,
I want to push your brow back down, Sean.
My wife is more of a hotel snob than I am. To me, I'm just like, I'll just lay my hat. But being with her, I've become more of a hotel snob in a lot of ways. But any of the Disney resorts are really fine, so you're good to go. With it anyway. The only difference is that for me, I'm really with the DVC. I'm really comfortable and used to having the second sink in there. The mini kitchenette area. And that's really what I'm so used to having that. It's hard not to have it.
Right. Yeah. Get in that mug wash area, or if you're doing coffee, mixing drinks. That's right.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Yeah.
I can't afford the 1 bedrooms. I don't have that kind of points.
Yeah, yeah. No, my son the other day was like, "Dad, are we ever going to stay in one of the cabins?" I said, "No, son, probably not."
I'd like to do it one day to stay in a cabin. I don't want to stay in the poly ones. I want to stay in a cabin. One day, maybe just splurge, and I'll spend one night.
Right? Have you've heard these stories? I know of people getting upgraded just on random. It's crazy. Like, you always want that to happen to you, but you're never going to be able to walk in there and be like, hey, "You guys got any cabins open?"
Well, we had our problems with our room at the Polynesian a couple of years ago, and the guy was like, "Oh, I could put you in the cabin for the night." And I was like, "No, I don't." Everybody was already in the room sleeping, and because we had just gotten back to the park, this was the time my daughter lost her blanket, and I don't even know if I ever brought it up, but he was like, you basically can go and stay in the bungalow there, but it was like 11 o'clock at night. I wasn't waking everybody up, and I wasn't staying there by myself, so I didn't really push it any further because he pretty much was giving it to me. But whatever. I mean, there are people that do get upgraded. It's usually because the rooms are available because there are so many points, and that there's no rooms available in the regular resort, that they can't move you to another studio or one bedroom, whatever you're staying in, so they'll throw you over there. That's usually why, because there's a problem with the room. Right.
And I mean, there's always availability. It's crazy. If you look at you look online for the points, and if you're DVC, obviously, I know not everybody does that, but I know you do. So it's like you look on there and you're like, "Oh, I got these points," and you want to stay. Everybody's trying to get the 9-point night,
right? Boardwalk
in the fall, and then there's the 109 points.
Exactly, big difference.
So, yeah.
All right, so we have a new review on iTunes, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. This comes from Cassie1217, and it says, "Honestly, the best Disney pod." I don't know if there's anything after that, but that's basically what it says.
Well, thanks, Cassie.
It says, "I have searched high and low for Disney podcasts and nearly always found a reason to stop listening. With the Enchanted Tiki Talk, I was instantly pulled in. The variety of content, the playful banter, the guest hosts, what's not to love? I can only hope to run into a Tiki Bird at Walt Disney World on my next trip. You better believe I have my Perch Talk answers ready to go. If you don't know anything I'm talking about, then stop reading the review and start listening. Sean and Keith are definitely on my top 10 best Disney dips of all time, and you should add them to yours. Amp up the commute with their ridiculousness. And Sean is so handsome. Thank you."
That's not in there. You're fired. I think everybody knows that wasn't in there.
Oh, really, Keith? Uh-huh.
Really.
Right. Just because she didn't say Keith is handsome.
I just want to know, what Disney dips means. I've, asked a bunch of people, it's if that's, lying for something. I've asked my niece, who is, 18 years old, if she knew what it meant, and she didn't. We did do a Google search on it, but a bunch of the terms that it came up with were not as flattering as I think that Cassie meant it to be. So, if you're listening, which I hope that you still are, Cassie, could you just explain that for me? Because it's been driving me kind of mental trying to figure out what that meant. And I'm sure it's probably just like a typo or something, and I've been, obsessed with it for 3 days, but...
And you can also tell Keith that I am handsome, so he is aware that.
Oh, good Lord.
Do you think it stands for Disney Internet Personalities? Maybe.
Ooh, maybe.
Ooh, look at that!
Ooh,
man, it's because I'm so good looking. That's why.
You took the mirrors out of your house, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I figured.
So,
it kept on breaking. So I mean, what's the point of keeping them there?
The funny thing is, I'll say stuff like this, and I never say anything like this in front of my wife. It's rare. Once in a while, I will, but
she'll just roll her eyes and walk away. That's why.
Exactly. So fun. So, before we take the break, next week we'll have a big announcement for the show. I believe next week. So stay tuned for that. And
I don't even know what that is, so that'll be fun.
I hope you know what it is. And then, yeah, that's it. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
Hello, dear. Thanks for calling. Haley Comet, be quiet. Can't you see I'm on the phone? Kids these days, they think the worlds revolve around them. You were saying?
We are back from break. So trying to decide what attractions you should use your all-important FastPass selection on can be a mind-numbing experience. So this week on the channel Tiki Talk, we're going to talk about 5 attractions that we think that you should FastPass and 5 attractions that you shouldn't use your FastPass on. So, Jesse, thank you for bringing up this idea. I don't know if we've ever covered anything like this before. We probably did something similar, but it's a whole new world now, and more attractions are open. It's 2018, so it doesn't matter. Even if we did this 4 years ago, things have changed since then. So why don't we start off with things that we should use it on?
Okay.
Yes.
Right? How's that sound? Keith's like,
Oh, that's...
I didn't know we were talking about this week. So,
No, I did. I read your text messages once in a while.
all right, go ahead there, Jesse.
Yeah. All right. Well, since we're going to go with fast passes, you should use it on. I'm going to go ahead and take, I think, one of the biggest ones, obviously now, because again, for now, it is the most popular ride, and that would be Flights of Passage in Pandora over in Animal Kingdom. There's no way, even though I love the ride, there's no way I would wait the wait times people are waiting for that ride. And a fast pass would just ensure, you're going to get through that ride and not have to endure those hot long lines. So
Exactly, yeah. I mean, that was my top one as well. I just did fast passes for August. I'm taking like a 4-day, just like a solo trip down, and there was not one time any day the Flight of Passage was available. All times, I didn't care. Like, I rode it like 2 times now, but it's such a cool ride that you don't want to skip it and stuff. So it's like I plan on just like hoping I can do a shorter wait at the park closing time, have like a shorter wait, so it's like I don't have to miss out on it.
Yeah, that's on my list as well. I figured this is probably going to be one of them that's going to be on there for everybody, but easily this is something that you have to, with the 2-hour long waits, the long walk just to get up there. And like Jesse said, in the heat makes it even worse. So Flight of Passage, it's on everybody's list.
Yep.
Next.
All right. So I would say another great use of the fast pass, and I think a couple weeks ago on the show you guys did with what's worth the wait. I think even though it has a pretty good queue now, Peter Pan's flight, I think that's another good use of fast pass if that is a must-do ride for you. And again, I love it. I love the classic dark ride attraction, and again, just some of those wait times for that ride are just ridiculous. So fast pass, that's a great use of a fast pass right there.
See, now I'm going to jump in this, and I'm going to tell you that that's actually on my not to use pass.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so my theory for this is that because if you're a person that can get to the park when the park opens or before the park opens, this is like one of the attractions that it's perfect for you to get over there and get on right away, because you'll be on there within 10 minutes. Within the first 20 minutes of the park opening, you could be on that ride within 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. So I feel that if you have that ability to get there on time, and you're a person that doesn't sleep in, don't use your fast pass on Peter Pan. Use it elsewhere. Get on that. Make that your first ride of the day, because people are running, the dash for Splash, the race for Space, and the tunnel to the mine train. People are heading in those directions first. So hit up Peter Pan first. That's one of my choices for not to use your fast pass on.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I did actually have that one on my my top list. I do get to the parks like at rope drop a lot of times, but I just don't like to run and rush. I like to just kind of like take my time. So
Yeah, you like to stop at Starbucks.
No. God, no. But as much as I enjoy that ride, I can't see 60-minute wait. And I mean, once your day actually starts, there is no time that it's not at least an hour wait. I mean, so I just always, like, I pick one for, like, afternoon. It gets you out of the sun for, you know, like 5-8 minutes. But it's always a FastPass for me.
Another great use of a FastPass is, I mean, I think, hands down, and you probably could say this is probably true of any ride at Hollywood Studios right now because they have so limited. But I would say Midway Mania because again, that's one of those ones. And again, I think I don't know how Toy Story Land is going to affect that, but I'm pretty sure it's still going to be as crazy as ever, even with the third track. Just that's another one that just gets so the lines get ridiculous for and really quick.
Right.
Last time we were there, we rope dropped, and even with a rope drop, we still ended up waiting quite a bit. So it's just a great FastPass use. And it's a quick ride, so I think that's one of the things I'd say. That's why I'd want to use a FastPass, because you're going to wait all that time in line, and then boom, it's done.
Right.
See, now, for me, I agree with you with Toy Story, but I kind of cheated, and I put all of Toy Story Land in there, even though it's not open yet. I did because it's really, they're all related in that respect.
I'll take the Magic Kingdom then, all of it.
No, but it is. It really doesn't matter when it comes to those 3 attractions. I could have said Toy Story. I could have said one of the other 2 attractions. It doesn't make a difference. It's just anything that's Toy Story related, you have to use at least one of your Fast Passes on, because you have 2 new attractions there. There's nothing else family friendly really in that park to do.
Right.
So that's why I encompassed it all into the one thing there. So it doesn't matter. You just take your pick. Whatever one you're going to choose, just go with it. I mean, chances are, once it opens up, probably Toy Story, the Midway Mania, probably the one that'll have the easiest time of walking onto because of the 3 tracks. But it doesn't really matter because there's nothing to do for families in that park.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yep.
I did get one for Slinky Dog, one for the Alien Saucer Spin, but on different days. Obviously, because they're both the Tier 1 now,
Right.
But Slinky Dog, I did get at night too, which I'm excited to actually ride that one at night, which I think will be better experience than during the day. But the studios, the Fast Pass that I picked was the Tower of Terror. It seems like that there's always a humongous wait for that one. Doesn't really hold a ton of people, so it seems like at the times extend that one. And plus, it's, except for Rock and Roller Coaster, it's like the only like thrill ride there. So that's always a Fast Pass for me there.
See, like for me, I chose the Rock and Roller Coaster as the Fast Pass over there just because that line is usually always longer than the Tower of Terror line. Mm-hmm. Typically every time I go, I'm always booking the Rock and Roller Coaster because that line, I rarely ever see it less than a 70-minute wait. Whereas Tower of Terror, a lot of times I'll see that more of a 40-minute wait. So I'd much rather stand on the Tower of Terror line than I would in the Rock and Roller Coaster, because the Rock and Roller Coaster one, that's always one that, like, if I've done the standby line a few times, and it just feels like you'll stay in the same spot for like 5 to 10 minutes. Whereas the Tower of Terror, always, at least you're moving, you move up a 1 or 2 people every minute or 2. But Rock and Roller Coaster, man, I don't know how many times I've been on there and didn't move, and that's I hate that. I much rather have the switchbacks when you're actually moving instead of standing still for 10 minutes. Whoa. Jesus is mad at you.
I answered wrong.
You upset the
drummers
Tiki
are
gods.
starting up. Yeah.
Man, was that right outside your house?
Yeah, I guess it's crazy. We've had these weird thunderstorms down here in North Carolina today. Just rainstorms just out of nowhere, kind of like it does in Florida. Just starts raining. So, but I think I'm all right. I think I've got two huge oak trees in the backyard, so I think it might have hit one of those. We'll see.
We'll find out tomorrow. So, Jesse, your next one.
Next one, and I'm gonna, I kind of try to navigate through the parks, different parks. Don't want to stay in one area, so I'm gonna go to Epcot next. And Epcot, this was kind of a toss for me because, again, it's almost like the amount of time people wait for these rides. I was gonna say a really good use of the FastPass is Test Track, but again, I don't know. I mean, with the single rider line, it can get busy. Soarin', so I think I'm going to take it over to Soarin' because now let me preface that by saying it's a good fast pass. It's a good fast pass for if you're going to not rope drop the park there, because again, if you rope drop Epcot, Soarin' can fill up quick, but I think if you get there quick, you can do it without the fast pass.
Yeah, because that's once again that's Soarin's on my not to use FastPass list just for that reason, because you can get on there, you can get into the park. Once again, you have to. That's my theory of thinking. That's how I've adapted to the new FastPass system, is trying to get to the park when it opens and taking advantage of those attractions like that. So Soarin' would be the one I would use, and I would either get my tier 1 at Frozen or Test Track, depending on the day.
Right. Yep, that's a really good. Again, because I like to think we do a lot of rope drop. So it's like that's usually what if we're staying. Last summer when we stayed over at the boardwalk, it was beautiful because we came into the international side and we rope dropped and we were able to do whatever we wanted. We could have done Frozen, we could have done Test Track, we could have done Soarin' and been okay. That I would say the one good thing about fast passing Test Track is because it usually does go down.
Right.
You usually get that email. Here's an extra fast pass.
Right. Yeah.
So that nothing more frustrating than waiting in a line for that ride and then having it go down, and then you're just done. So
right. Exactly.
I chose Soarin' for Epcot, but it's kind of reluctantly. Like, Soarin' always was like a must-do for me. I just loved it. I would do it like multiple times a trip, but this new version, I just don't enjoy it as much as I used to. Especially if you don't get the center section, it takes away the entire ride for me, which it might kind of sound elitist or snobbish, but it just does. I would be fine if I didn't actually ride it each and every trip now. So it's weird. If you've never experienced it, to ride that you should experience. I mean, and it does get extremely like long lines, even though it's got the third theater now. So
this is how I look at Soarin' now. I agree with you, but I still enjoy the attraction. It's like I compare Soarin' to like the new Star Wars films, or the new Star Wars trilogy. It's like it's not the new Star Wars. Like I enjoyed The Force Awakens, but I did not like The Last Jedi. So I feel like it's not geared towards me anymore. The Soarin'. So it's almost like it's trying to gear towards what's the terminology? Your quick cuts and things like that. It's like they're trying to do too much, force too many things, when simplicity wins in the end sometimes. Yep. So I think they in a lot of ways they definitely ruined the attraction. It's not what it was. But I also feel the same way for Test Track. I think the old version of Test Track was far superior. This one is more like Tron Track. They should have just called it Tron Track. So there's ways of looking at everything, but for there's going to be people out there that love it more than the original one too. So it's all a matter of opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this last time we went down and I did Soarin', I got one of the seats on the far right, and my wife and kids I mean, it was almost a different show for me than it was them, because I kept saying, man, everything's angled, and I kept thinking, am I okay? Have I been in the sun too long?
Right.
And then you see, you got to the tower, and you're like, oh, this looks horrible. So, yeah, it's crazy that, just for an attraction to be based for like that, have a different experience from where you sit. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I could imagine if that would have been my first time ever doing Soarin', and I sit over there, I would be like, man, I don't see what the fuss is.
Right.
So I'm kind of glad that wasn't my first time, but it was somebody's first time.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's almost worse because like you enjoyed it so much, and then it's like it's nothing like it used to be.
Right.
If it's your first time, you don't know what it was like.
Right, exactly. All right, so next one on my list to use would be the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Pretty much, even if you're rushing there first thing in the morning, you're still going to have a wait for it because there's so many people doing the same thing because they could not get a fast pass for it. So Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in the Magic Kingdom is on my list because there's always an 85-minute long wait there. It's rare to see it shorter than that.
Yeah, that was on my list too. As much as I would like to experience the queue, I never have. It's not worth the wait to see like what the interactive queue is like. So I'm okay with fast passing that one.
Right. What's you have one more, Jesse, or is that it for your?
That's all I have for the best use.
Okay. So I have Matt, Keith. You have another one?
No, that was all mine.
Okay. So my last one on there would be Space Mountain. That's always got a long line. I hate being stuck in the tunnel and watching people run by you with their fast pass, rubbing it in and going, ha ha, I have a fast pass and you don't. That upsets me. So
like that scene in Wayne's World where they show their backstage pass to like everybody.
Yes, that's what it feels like when you're waiting there. That's like the one attraction that just bothers me the most, because you're in the tunnel there and you still have like 4 miles to go before you're even close. So I have to put Space Mountain. That's like a must fast pass for me.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like the last several times I've fast passed Space Mountain, it's almost, it's like literally one of those fast passes where you feel like you're just walking up to get on the ride, and that's your wait.
Right.
And that's nice because, at least with some of the other rides, you're going to wait a little bit with Fast Pass. But this, we just walked right up and got right on, and it was, done, over. So,
right, so
if you're not careful, Wayne Campbell, you're going to lose me. That's the whole point of breaking up. That just reminded me. Thanks for that reference. I love it.
Anytime.
Let's see your not to use. I already said 2 of them. One of them was Peter Pan, and the other one was Soarin'.
So I'll say this. So not to use, and I'll go over to Animal Kingdom. The Bug's Life show in the tree. There's it's tough to be a bug. Because that type of show, you can pretty much go in it at any time. And, I've seen a wait. But again, 15 minutes tops? So
depends on the time of year.
Yeah.
And plus, the Fast Pass, like, it doesn't really get you that much further.
Right.
Like, you still have to wait, like, at lobby space. It doesn't help you as much as other attractions. With mine for Animal Kingdom, I'll take the 2 and lump them in one. The Rivers of Light and Festival Lion King.
That's a reach there, lumping them together.
Those.
At least mine was in the same
shows.
At least mine was right there together.
But yours was like an entire land. I'm just taking
but yours are like not
2
even
shows.
Close to each other.
But anyhow, each of these shows have tons of seating. The view is pretty much the same. Doesn't matter like if you get a certain spot or not. I just wouldn't like waste fast passes on shows like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's smart because, I mean, it's great when people do waste fast pass on shows like that. So it opens up fast passes to other attractions. So I say, go ahead, use them. But in some cases, some people don't ride attractions, don't do things like that. So it works for them. But generally, yeah, I agree with you. I would not waste a fast pass on those. Jesse, what's your next one?
I'd say my next one not to use, and I think I'm going on a theme here. I go to Hollywood Studios, Muppet Vision 3D.
Yes. That was on mine.
I mean, but
not
then again, you look at it, it's like, what else are you gonna fast pass? So, no, but seriously, you can almost always go see that any time of the year. If that I think is one of those ones, and my wife hates the Muppets, but I love them. So my kids and I, we always go to it, and we always walk in, and it's usually right before the next show is going to start. So.
Well, that's another one of those where you're stuck in the same spot. So I mean, it's not advantageous. That's a big word. You like that, don't you?
Spell it.
To use that there, and plus it's fun to look at all this stuff that's in there too, so it's nice to kind of just like slow it down and stuff and look at all the funny jokes and the puns and everything that's everywhere.
Not on my list, but yeah, I agree with it. But on my list over in Epcot, I'm going to say Finding Nemo. Usually the attraction is usually about 20 minutes long, and it's not worth wasting a fast pass on because it's going to take you 15 minutes just to walk through the queue, and it's air conditioning, and there's plenty for you to look at while you're walking through the queue, so I don't feel like there's necessarily a need to waste one on that. But this is also coming down to there's not many attractions you can use a fast pass on in Epcot, but for me, if I can avoid it and I could use it somewhere else, I will use it somewhere else.
That's true. I mean, that's another one of those that hit the musical, right?
No, the ride in Epcot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a continuous loader, too, so that kind of helps that along.
What do you got, Keith?
Well, I know that you guys are going to probably joke at me for this one, but it's Journey into Imagination with Figment. As much as I love Figment, as much as I like that ride, you do not have to fast pass that thing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You could probably stay on it for, like 4 or 5 rounds, and I don't think that they would kick you off.
Right.
I mean, so it's a must-do, but it's not a fast pass.
Exactly. Jesse, what you got?
Yep. So staying in Epcot, I would say one that you shouldn't fast pass is the land. Living on the land.
True. Good point.
Because my wife and I were talking about that. It's now I say that, however, we were thankful to have a fast pass for it. The last time we were there, because it was peak time, spring break, and I've never seen a 90-minute wait time on Living with the Land, and there was a 90-minute wait, believe it or not. So
was Soarin' down then too?
Well, I think
probably
there was a test track was down, and with it being spring break, everybody was there. So it was unreal. So if we had not had that fast pass, we were like, we're not doing this.
Right.
We love it, but not that much.
We were there like when Soarin' was down for the refurb and everything, and the land had, I think, like 65 or 70-minute wait. And I stood there just like with like an open jaw. It's like I couldn't believe it. And it's like we actually did get like a fast pass for it, just because at the time there wasn't much else to use it on, so it's like I got it for that. But but yeah, that was a shock for sure.
Next one for me is going to be Dumbo. Now this is more geared towards adults who are traveling, not with kids, because Dumbo and the Barnstormer, if you want to ride the Barnstormer as an adult, it's the type of attraction that once 8 o'clock comes at the Magic Kingdom, there's pretty much no wait, and usually you can stay on it more than once.
Right.
So I don't feel that if you are traveling without kids, or if you are with kids and they have that ability to avoid Dumbo, and you can do later on the day once 8 o'clock comes, it's the perfect opportunity for you to ride Dumbo with 0 to no wait at all. So that would be my not to use.
It's a good one.
Go ahead. Do you have, how many does everybody have?
I just have one more left, and it's the Mickey's Phil Magic.
Yeah, I had that one on my list too. So
as much as I love it, it's pretty much the first attraction I do each trip. It isn't. It's worth a fast pass there. It's a pretty big theater. It's a quicker show, so it kind of empties out fast, and I think that everybody kind of really don't even realize it's there.
Right.
Everybody's all it's where the princess meet and greets and stuff in New Fantasyland and Peter Pan. I think that it just passed right by it.
Right. Good point.
Yeah. Yep. I was going to say, like, that was the one I had on my list from Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom, I think, is, out of the parks, that's where you're going to get the best use of FastPass, I think, because, unlike Epcot with the tiers and everything else, I mean, you can have a FastPass for Big Thunder. You can have a FastPass for Space Mountain. You can have it for, Haunted Mansion. And so FastPasses are really good there. And I would also say that one of the things, a lot of people don't utilize the My Disney Experience app to rebook FastPasses once they use that third one.
Right.
Magic Kingdom is a gold mine for that because there are so many FastPasses available. I can't. When I was there, when I went solo, my first solo trip ever earlier in the year, I was booking Haunted Mansion, and then I got off Haunted Mansion. I checked real quick, got a Space Mountain, went over, and I hadn't pre-booked any of my FastPasses, but just being able to go on there and get those three, use those three, and keep doing one after one after one. So
right. All right, so my final one is over in the Animal Kingdom, and that is the Navi River Journey. Once again, this is kind of one of those things where you take advantage of not using your FastPass at the end of the day. So get on River Journey about 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the park's going to close, and it'll be a very, very short wait, maybe 15 minutes or less, so that way you can use your FastPass at Flight of Passage at some point during the day and not use it for Navi River Journey. Have a short ride at the end of the day. You might get another one in by the time the park closes when you get there. So I think it's a great way to do it is at the end of the day. You notice most of my things are beginning or end of day where take advantage of it the best.
That is true. I mean, if you're willing to stay up and at the parks late, I mean, you could pretty much walk on a lot of things at any park. So that's a nice way to save your fast passes if you're willing to stay up late.
Right.
Yep. Especially those 1 a.m. Magic Kingdom nights,
right?
When they do the extra. And usually we try to steer clear of the morning magic hours. Because. But I don't know if you've seen the schedule for Hollywood Studios this summer, but I know when we're there in July, they're opening at 7 a.m. every day, and they're closing at 10:30 every night. Wow. So that park is going to be lit.
Exactly. All right, Jesse, so thanks for coming on this week. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on Twitter?
Yes, you can find me over at DisneyDad23 on Twitter. And again, I haven't been too active on my Twitter account lately, but I scroll through it and make sure, I keep up with my Disney news and, the talk and the banter on here with you guys. So
cool. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week on Agenda Tiki Talk. But first, we want to thank our sponsors, Kingdom Strollers. Get your premium stroller and crib rentals at KingdomStrollers.com. Let the vacation experts at MousePros.com help plan your next perfect Disney vacation. But don't forget to check out our store at theredbubble.com/Tiki Talk Podcast. You can connect to us with social media. Find us on Facebook at Enchanted Tiki Talk, Instagram, and Twitter at Tiki Talk Podcast. You can also leave us a message on the Tiki Talk hotline. That's 256-4MY-TIKI. That's 256-469-8454. And if you enjoy the show, please rate us on iTunes. And you can find me, Sean, the good-looking one, at 1 Minute Disney Dream on Twitter. That's 1MIN Disney Dream. MouseWorldVacations.com and MousePros.com.
I was waiting for like the home game to be offered to me. That was pretty nice. And you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Dole Whip Daily.
That's it. Thank you once again, Jesse, for coming onto the show. Aloha.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening this week. For Sean and Keith, I'm Alan, and this has been Enchanted Tiki Talk. Aloha.
I tell you what, it's going to be crazy there this summer, though.
Oh,
I just the crowd levels, it's going to be unreal there. So.
I mean, we just wait till Star Wars opens. I don't.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be insane.
I'm like, I think like, should I try to go down for the opening of it? Do I want to go do that? I'm like, I don't know. That's like one of those things where Sharon's not going to come along. I'm not bringing the kids along for that. But if I go, I want to go and I want to stay at an all-star, split it with 4 people, and just enjoy because I don't care where I stay. You know, just go.
We just camp at Fort Wilderness.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. I need air conditioning, no matter what time of year it is. It could be,
you don't
be 32
expect a
there.
big star like Sean to camp on a tent, do you?
Right. I can glamp. I can't camp.
Hey, did you enter the glamp contest?
No, I didn't.
My wife actually did a video for it. She entered in.
Did she?
You know, yeah, she worked on the video and submitted it yesterday. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
cool.
she's like, if I win, I'm taking another girl with me down. I'm like, oh, that's great. Thanks a lot.
Real nice.
Like, I didn't go by myself because, you know, I wanted to get away from you. I go because she teaches, right? So she can't go down,
right.
You know, in the middle of the year. And it just so happens that I was able to get down there. And, but yeah. Shoot, I've questioned that too. Star Wars Land, you know, do you want to be there when it opens? Because it's like, I feel like it's going to be so huge that it's almost like, you know, where were you when Star Wars Land opened? You know?
Right.
Because we're never going to get. I mean, well, I say never, but I mean we might. But like, you know, the opening park experience, and this to me is like going to be an extension on Hollywood Studios.
True.
Whereas like. We're like Pandora is still part of Animal Kingdom, and I know Star Wars Land will still be part of Hollywood Studios, but it's going to be huge.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to stay like the Star Wars resort for like opening weekend and just let's just figure blow it out.
Yep.
Right.
Max my credit card.
Yeah.
Take my money.
I'll mortgage the house. Who cares? I was there.
That's right.
Right.
See me on the side of the road with a pen. I was. Please help! I was at opening day, Star Wars Land.
I'll give you park maps for $1.
Right.
Enchanted Tiki Talk has been brought to you by MousePros.com. Let us plan your perfect Disney vacation. And MickeyMonthly.com, where you can get the park sent directly to you. And by KingdomStrollers.com for all your premium stroller and crib rental needs. Also by Trader Sam's Coffee. Why not brew some magic in your home? And finally, Woodies.com. Sunglasses for a glare-free view of the magic. For all of us here, I'm David Benter. Thanks for listening to Enchanted Tiki Talk.